What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the podcast. We are happy to be here. We are again at this lovely plant shop, Propagate in Sacramento. Have your wedding here, have your life here. This is where you want to be.
Genuinely, thank you so much, Brian, for letting us use this space. Yeah, this is Henry's dad. Yeah.
No Henry Day, sorry.
Yeah, can we Photoshop a Henry right here?
Yes, put Henry there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, camera
Good
guy.
job,
Henry, move him here. Thanks for coming to another episode. We're happy to be here. We're having another episode with just us. I think we have wanted to say a lot of things, and we've been trying not to interrupt guests, and I just can't help myself because I just love to talk. And so this is time where I talk so I don't interrupt people. This is an outlet. Susie is going to listen to me ramble.
We're letting the steam out.
We're letting my steam out, and I'm so steamy. But what do you want to talk about today? We had some good ideas.
Yeah, it's been a year since we started the podcast.
Dun, dun, dun.
And so we are going to talk a little bit about what we've learned, how we've grown as people. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. So, yeah, sorry, I interrupted you though. What we learned as people and...
Yeah, I'm going to cut you off that green tea right now. I'm just kidding.
I like it.
Yeah, 1 year anniversary, what we've learned. Maybe favorite...
Sorry, keep going.
Maybe favorite guest. If you're listening to that, I'm so sorry.
It's really hot. You have to slurp it when it's that hot.
He's sipping on tea.
I'm hungry. It's not my fault.
Okay, so anyways, are you done? What we've learned as people, favorite guest, least favorite guest. No, I'm kidding.
You can't say me. I'm a guest. Here's you, Susie. What do you feel like you have gotten out of this year?
Yeah.
Not just the podcast, but what's this year been for you? What have you...
This year has been crazy awesome. I think...
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Okay, thanks.
Best thing that ever happened to you.
Okay, I think a lot of really good things did happen because of you. So...
Stop. Don't say nice things because I'm also annoying.
No, a lot of really good things did happen with you because of you. I really do mean that. So thank you.
Thank you.
But I think this podcast has, looking back at my life in the last 2-3 years, it's changed my life. And so I never thought that I would be holding a mic and speaking to people and having awesome conversations and meeting some of my heroes in the faith and heroes in the gay community. Like, it's just been crazy.
Yeah. You're not someone that just wants to be in front of people. And I like when we talked about this project, I didn't fully know what your comfortability was with that. And I realized you've been facing a lot more fears than I have because I've kind of been in front of people a lot at church. Yeah. I had to face them already, but you came into this probably not knowing what this was going to be like.
No, yeah.
And you've like risen to the occasion. You've dealt with an over-talking partner and found a way to make your voice heard. And the guests you brought on have been so powerful and some of the smartest people that I would have never thought to. Like, I feel like we have built a beautiful resource.
Yeah.
A lot of it was your journey that you managed to pull into a podcast.
You too, yeah. Literally same. It's like a repertoire of all the things that we've been through collectively and individually. It's really cool. And I've seen you grow. And I don't know, your commitment to the podcast has been, it's like insane. Yeah. The energy you've poured into it, the way you talk to people and connect with people. I've like gotten to see you kind of talk people through their story. And I'm like, whoa, every time I hear you, I'm like, ooh, like that's just Nate's heart is like to help people. And so, yeah, it's been cool.
Thanks. I mean, yeah, you're a better listener than I am. And I appreciate you having that ability. I'm excitable and maybe a little ADD. I don't know. And
that's why we love you.
Yeah, thanks. I know people have said like the relatability is a thing. I'm like, oh, you like me because I seem so basic and normal that I'm relatable, which I'm okay with. I'm not trying to be all smart and stuff. But no, I thank you so much. I really am honored that you think that of me because we all see our flaws so heavily. And it's hard to see the good parts. And I've been trying to grow in my flaws. That's something I'm working on. But like, thank you for saying those things.
What has this project exposed of any flaws or things that you are like, oh, I didn't know that about me until this project?
I think I have a very analytical, very individualistic brain. I've always been on my own. I haven't had a lot of I just, like, I was homeschooled. My parents were really busy. I kind of parented myself in a lot of ways. Sorry, Mom, you did a great job. I love you. She watches this. But I like kind of raised myself. We went to a motorhome. I was like doing my own thing often. I haven't really had to work strongly with other people. So I think I've learned to listen. I've been trying to learn to listen.
Yeah.
You can judge if I have.
You have.
And actually change. I think coming out, I've been expressing myself very openly and freely. And I don't want to do that if it's making other people have to be smaller. And I want to try and... I feel like my voice was so quiet that having a voice now, I've had to learn how to exercise it, like learn how to use an indoor voice, learn how to give other people time while still being me. And so I think being with you has helped me navigate because you're a lot more sensitive and careful. And I'm like, oh yeah, I still, just because I found freedom doesn't mean that I don't want to have a value for giving other people space. And being on a podcast especially, and not just you, but like having guests and be like, oh, this time isn't about me. And I really want this person to share their story. What if I can help by not butting in sometimes? Like, what if I can, even in my social life with my other friends, I had some feedback that like I was monopolizing conversation. I'm like, okay, that's a big deal. Like, how do I give other people space? Because I want other people to be heard. And sometimes it takes, for me, someone that I just want everybody to be happy and get along. Like, I want the vibe in the room to be good. So I'm just like, everybody like talk. I want to say something funny. Let's all laugh. I'm like, but there's also value for reading the room and making sure everybody's getting heard. So I think it's actually helped me become a better communicator. Yeah. And a better listener. And those are things that I'm really happy to, and learning to take feedback. Yeah. I can be a little stubborn and sorry, I just like, once I get an idea in my head, I have a hard time shifting it. And so learning and remembering constantly that just because I think something doesn't mean it's right. And you can have two perspectives on something and both can be right. Yeah. So just because like I might know I'm right in this way, that doesn't stop someone else from also being right with a different perspective. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. And I think you've grown in that. And I've seen you, even during the summer when we took that break, you're listening to podcasts on how to ask questions and be a better listener. And I was like, oh, Nate, that's awesome. And those podcasts were really good too. Yeah, I think you've totally grown in all that. What do you think you've, I guess, as far as your, like, because we've dug into a lot of theology and a lot of inner healing, what do you think you've learned this year? How have you been changed as far as your, sexuality journey, your acceptance of your sexuality journey, and your walk with God? That's a big question. You can answer whichever piece you want. I think with the sexuality piece, it's been, I think dating is hard. And it's hard to not lump sexuality and dating because so much of what I'm working through is about dating and is about attachment style, and it's about who I want to be in a relationship and the type of partner I want to be. And so I've been learning a lot about that. And I think, honestly, this is going to sound so funny, but like going out with you has kind of opened up my world, because I used to historically take dating very seriously, and I still do. And I hate it about myself. And so do I. And so do you. And that's not what you learned from me. But you just take it, you're just so much more like go with the flow about it, I think. And you're so much better at going with the flow. And I think going out with you and like getting to know new people with you, I've learned so much. And I have stopped taking it so like freaking seriously, which has actually been really good and healthy for me, because sometimes it does feel like there's a stick up my butt, and it like, this, and I'm sorry about that. But I mean, yeah. I can, no, you're great. So I've learned a lot about that. And yeah, what's the experience been like learning how to date more freely? Because I think religious culture is very like, dating looks like this, I kiss dating goodbye. Like there's all these little bases in religion for being really, really careful, and you're going to marry this person, you got to think like you're going to marry this person. Right. Like, was that where you're coming from? Like those religious views, or more so just your personal caution? Yeah, there was some of that. But I think what really has informed my dating experience now was a really big trauma injury from, this, like 3 years ago, and like the hurt and the pain that caused. And
maybe one day we'll come out with an episode called, what did we call it? F the NDA?
F the NDA.
Stay tuned for that. But I think that's informed so much of the way that I now perceive dating. And I already thought that I had walls built up even before that experience, but now they're like built up tenfold. Like now I'm just so scared of getting hurt and walking into a situation that my heart will be on the line and my boundaries will be crossed and I won't have autonomy in my no or my yes. And so now I'm just like extra more aware of it. And when I met you, I was processing all that.
Yeah.
And when we became friends and we started going out, I was undoing a lot of that work.
Right.
And you were a big part of my healing in that.
Our relationship?
Yeah. Our friendship, our relationship.
Our relationship.
Because you helped me there was a lot of scar tissue there that you really helped me work through. And does that answer your question?
Yeah. I forget that like that shaped so much of your dating journey, because you forget that you can have experiences in your adulthood that also, it's not just your childhood. Like we have
deeply mess you up. Yeah.
Yeah. And dating right now is hard, gay or straight. In gay dating, we have to be honest, like it can seem to be messier. It seems to be more casual. There's a real big flip from going from normal, like very serious dating culture to completely casual. And I feel like that's the Christian to gay pipeline. Like Christian is the polar like opposite, like dating for marriage, date 2 people max, and one of them should have been your wife by now. If you didn't, you're doing something wrong. Like you're gonna get married after you start dating. Whereas gay culture, it's like, do we even need to get married? How many partners can we have? Why not more? That's more men. Men love the non-monogamy, and I don't, and I'm sorry. I feel like I'm gonna reject it in gay culture sometimes for being monogamous, which is, it's too much. And that's another story. That's another story. I'm doing my best. No, it feels like I'm really glad you're finding healing in that. And I've seen you be like a lot more gutsy.
Yeah.
And just, because I do think dating, there are points where you take it seriously, but at the start, like when you've known someone for like 2 dates, it's great to just, or even like when you just meet someone, who knows what's going to happen? Like the odds that someone that you met and you're 2 dates in, the odds that they are going to be your partner long term are just not super high. So why feel the stakes are so high when you really like someone? I have the same hard time too, because I'm pretty picky with, like,
we both are.
So like for me to actually find someone, I think there's been more scrutiny on you, because I just haven't found many people I'd be like, oh yeah, I'd be wanting to go serious with you, and you've fallen for more. I think I might be even pickier than you are, to be honest.
No,
or
I think what it is,
there's just better women in Sacramento than men.
That could be it too. I don't know.
Sorry,
I think
Sacramento.
I think what it is
you're doing your best.
Like I see people, and then I kind of like, even if I like kind of just like them a little bit, I climb up and I'm like, this could be something. And it's less to do about the person and it's more to do with me, and I fully recognize that. It's less to do about the seriousness of the relationship or the potential of there being a relationship there, and it's everything to do with all the insecurities that it stirs up in me. And like I said, I'm working through the scar tissue, and even you talking through like the stakes being so high, you've helped me so much in building up my confidence back up from that previous train wreck. That when we first met, I think I told you this, like I was really struggling with just my confidence in general. And like, I told you, like, I thought that I needed to go through conversion therapy. Like there was a lot there, and you stepped in and became my friend at the right time. And I don't want to start crying, but like,
oh, stop.
But like, you even like helped me with like my insecurities, like physically, of like, I just, I'd tell you like, I feel so ugly, and you're like, you're not ugly. And like, it kind of like built my confidence of like, okay, maybe I can talk to someone. Maybe I can like go up to someone and talk to them. And so like, I feel like we're slowly working through the layers of scar tissue, and the first layer you helped with tremendously. And now some of this other stuff I need to work through with a therapist.
Like everything will always be a therapist forever. I'll never stop. Oh, thank you so much. God, I feel like an asshole sometimes, so it's great to hear that I'm doing some good. Because like I mess up sometimes. Like I'm not a perfect friend. I'm very like passionate, and I can be
no one's
when I'm really
passionate.
I know, but I can be really aggressive sometimes, and I'm working on that. So, and I've been kind of like, when we've like had discussions, I've been kind of aggressive at you, and I'm like, oh crap, like I really want to, no matter how defensive I feel, I want to feel really like I can control my aggression. And I like failed. It was like during the election week, and I was just like, something else came into the conversation that was also like something we've been processing through, and I was just so emotional that I kind of like was like really a little harsher than I wanted to be. And I'm like, damn, how come I like still can't control that? Like I'm like 34. I want to be able to control my aggression. So
thankfully
I appreciate
for you,
there's still good in,
there is. There's always good. And I think that's just part of like friendship and relationships. Like we're friends, we work together in some capacity
in a really very vulnerable project.
Yes. And so it's like, of course it's going to get messy, and I've told you this time and time again, I've grown so much as a person because of this. And so it does feel sometimes like a marriage, which is funny.
No, this is the closest to a marriage I've ever had.
Yeah, same.
I was saying earlier, like I haven't worked with people like this until this.
Yeah.
And it's very, you can't hide your shit as well. You have to be real and vulnerable. And you're in a project that you both affect.
Okay, well, that's one part. I think we kind of touched on it on the other episode, like having community who knows you and they support you and believe in you. How do you feel like it's gone this last year for you?
Community's been different. I actually had a bit of a rift in some of my other community from my old life, and I felt really vulnerable all of a sudden. And I think I didn't realize how vulnerable I could still feel, because I've kind of been riding this high of like, I'm out and I'm myself and I'm still feeling accepted is awesome. And then I think I was pretty loud and kind of rubbed some people the wrong way. And so I had to like have some mess I had to sort with. And so there's been highs and lows with community this year. Like I feel like none of us are ever numb to rejection. I think rejection will always hurt. And I also like with the gay community, I feel like I've got a few gay friends, but I'd like to have more. I feel like culturally I don't, like we're talking about doing kickball, but ironically like we didn't do kickball because we've been so busy with the podcast, and we signed up for kickball, paid the $100 and then let it go because it's Saturdays and we record on Saturdays. And I'm like, we can't possibly do both. And I'm like, well, maybe we should have, because I feel like, and this is another tangent, but I feel like we're a little isolated from queer community, and we still are kind of more in the middle. I don't think there should be a middle. I don't think there should be a big divergence between queer community and regular. And I do think even Gen Z is kind of merging things more, where it's like we're all just kind of people. Our identity isn't. But especially I feel like with millennial guys, especially in Sacramento, it feels like there's a lot of party culture here. And a lot of people are fooling around constantly. And I just don't I have a hard time finding a lot of good friendships in the queer community that don't have fooling around happening in the middle, or have like substances I don't really want to take part of, that don't have drinking constantly be a part of. Because I don't want this to look like I like to go to the club every now and then and dance and drink a decent bit and hang out with everybody. Like I like connecting with the queer community. Yeah. But I just want to find some more deep queer relationships, kind of like what we have. Yeah. Especially, but like more, and where I'm very vulnerable with them, getting to know them. And it's hard for me to know if this is a me thing. Maybe I'm still insecure about, like, I think I'd fit in, but I'm not sure if I'd fit in some of those groups. Not having actually been exposed to those groups and knowing how to act, I feel a little different from some queer groups. And I'm just like, I don't know if that's something I need to just change for. Yeah. I want to be authentic to me. I don't want to change to fit in, but also I do want to make more queer friends. So I think this is something I'm working on more this year. I want to dig into those questions a little more, maybe meet some different groups, try and find my way. It's hard to establish community when you're in your 30s, when you're newer. And I feel like a lot of queer men I meet, I tend to just like, you know, if I go on a date with them, I don't always want to be friends after. And it's hard to know, like, when it's hard to delineate what a friendship with a gay man is versus like potential for dating, and a lot of those lines get blurred. Yeah. So I am still new in this, and I haven't gotten as deep in that community as I like. I think I would like to be jumping into it more. Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
Well, talk more about that. Like, when you find someone that you meet that potentially you're attracted to, or there could be romance, is it like that's the where you pursue first, or do you pursue a friendship first?
It's hard because sometimes I'll pursue both. Yeah. If I start to get a crush on them and then it's not reciprocated, or the crush goes away, the energy just dissipates from the friendship, and I'm just
Right.
like, I don't have the same energy, and all of a sudden like my investment changes, and I'm like, oh, this is a friendship now. And then I also still have that lingering feeling sometimes, and I'm like, it's hard to be around someone that you liked that now doesn't
Yes,
like
I
you, and
totally
just
agree.
like, oh, we're
Yeah.
buddies.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I feel like a jerk because I'm like, I was acting like buddies with this person, and I'm like, I don't really want to act like buddies with you anymore. And am I a jerk for doing that? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But then I do want gay friends, but it just feels like I'm having a hard time meeting gay men that feel like they're at a similar level in the journey with me, where they have like, and even dating, it does kind of tie in. I
Yeah.
think this is probably a friend want. I'm totally cool with a lot of casual buddies,
Yeah.
but my friendships tend to be based on deep conversations. That's just my preference. Like, that's why we're friends, because we
Yeah.
have deep conversations. I really like deep connections with people. So with a lot of gay men, I just feel like we're so different. I feel like what I'm saying is just kind of annoying. I've dated someone where like, I feel like I was just rambling, and he's like, just can't we just talk about something chill? And I'm just talking about all this internal stuff. So I don't know how to
so
find
hard.
that.
Yeah.
And sometimes with these crushes I've had, I'll connect with somebody, feel like we're connecting really well, and then as soon as something happens where the crush doesn't work out, I'm like, oh, I actually don't feel like a super deep connection to you. Or like,
That's so awkward.
I feel like we're
when
on a
it
different
happens.
level.
Yeah.
Like, we're in a different
Yeah.
space. And so I'm like, now what?
Now what?
No, I don't know, but I do want gay friends.
Yeah.
So like, this is genuinely, you're in the middle of my process. I hope to have more gay community soon.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm not gonna lie, I am doing all right.
Yeah.
We're friends, we're gay, and we've got some other gay friends. But I wanna like hang out with more, like, a group of gay men more often.
Yeah.
I feel like
that's tough. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like I'm underexposing myself in a way.
Well, we should join that kickball league.
Yeah, I think it's mostly gay men. Are you ready?
That's fine.
Your life is gay men. We need to find you some girls.
so many gay
What about
men,
you?
but-
I want to hear that question for you.
I think you're right. Everything you said, I totally agree with. I think it's been like, I've dated a few, speaking of the gay community, I've dated a few women who I'm like, I would have so been friends with you had we not crossed
Right.
the romantic line. And then you kind
Right.
of shoot yourself in the foot, like, dang it. And like, even, do you remember that girl I dated? Like, gosh, it's been like probably 2 years now. A year.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
know
of
who I'm
course.
talking about?
The first one.
Yeah.
She's memorable.
Yeah, she's memorable. I miss her friendship sometimes. Like, I just
She's
miss hanging
cool.
out with
She's
her.
fun.
But we're not friends. Like,
Yeah.
after the romance thing, it was like, I personally don't believe in being friends with the people you've dated. That's just me. I know it's so different in lesbian world and girl world, and it's like totally normal. For me, that doesn't sit right with me.
You just don't
personally.
want to. I can't be dishonest. Like, I don't really want to.
Yeah, but it's so common, especially
Yeah,
with the
a lot
girls
of them too.
and the men.
But
too,
then a lot of
probably.
them will start kissing after.
No, that always happens.
I think we need a guide here. We need someone to tell us
We
what to do.
Well, that's the thing is like,
Oh.
oh my gosh, there's been times where I'm like, I just wish, and this is my resolution, along with the texting people back, is if I meet someone that I'm attracted to, I will first be friends with them and see who they are
I like
like
that.
and what they are like and what their values are.
Do you kiss your friends on the first date?
Nope.
Dang. This is gonna be really hard for
No,
me.
I'm gonna be friends with them.
Oh
I'm
my God,
genuinely
okay,
gonna
let's
invite
do
them
it.
to our friend thing.
No, I love- Aw.
See how they vibe.
Old school courting. We're bringing back courting.
We're bringing gay courting.
Gay courting, which is still faster than straight courting, but like slower than gay dating.
Yes.
Okay,
No.
yeah.
That's my plan because I can't go through this again. The last one ruined me. Do you
I get
remember?
that, yeah.
New Year's Eve. That was the
Yeah.
worst night ever.
That was just so dramatic. Yeah.
Well, not for the reasons that you might think.
When you see the, can I say?
No.
Okay.
Well,
But yeah, it
multiple
just-
times it
yeah.
happened.
Gosh. Yeah. It's been hard for us. We are not the best at dating. We are learning and we are picky. And Sacramento's small, and I feel like I've dated through this town. We're going to move, guys. We're going to move. Where should we move? Tell us.
New York,
New York. It might happen, guys. We might move to New York. We'll to let you know. I could.
the big city.
The big city. We'll see.
We'll be country mice.
Yeah. So that's what we've learned this year. Dating is hard. We're hoping to get better at it. I want to build more gay community.
Yes.
And date better. Maybe we have to move. What else has stuck out to you this year?
I'm working on owning my voice more. Do you remember that Jonathan Kirby episode where I kind of shared a little bit about, if you haven't seen that episode, go back and watch it. It was a really great one.
Yeah.
We were in New York, ironically.
New York.
But I'm learning on owning my voice better, and I think that's something that you do really well.
I don't like owning it, like saying what I want to say.
Okay. You know when you can hear someone talk and they don't actually believe in what they're saying, and they're kind of disconnected to their words and the voice that's coming out of their mouth? That's how I feel a lot of the times.
I don't think I hear that from you.
Interesting.
But so what does that come from, would you say?
I think that comes from like always like feeling like I need to keep my thoughts in, or like I don't know what the right thing to say is.
Oh, fear of judgment.
Maybe it's a little fear of judgment. I think it's also like a disconnection of what I believe and what I feel. And there are certain things that I strongly believe in that I can say, and I believe in those things. But there are other things where I'm like, well, I actually don't know where I stand on that. You know what I mean?
I agree. And it's hard having a podcast too, because it's like, I kind of have to say something. Right. A lot of times I can't say nothing, and I might disagree with a guest or something a little bit. And it's like, well, isn't my time to disagree? But then I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh, but if I disagreed right now, it'd be weird. I think this last episode when I talked about my faith, I can relate to you in that as well, where it's just like, oh, I don't want to dig into the fact that like my faith does not look like what it used to. It's complex and open, and there's a realm of mystery in there and openness. But like, I feel that sometimes I want just people to feel comfortable in having their faith. So I'm like, oh yeah, like Jesus, Christianity, A+. Yeah. And that says I felt disingenuous a few times. Also, like acting like a super good boy. I feel like everybody like always thinks I'm this good pastor's kid. Like my pastor's kid mode, I can't turn it off sometimes. I'm like, no, you're gonna love me because I'm such a good person and likable, and I do everything right. And I revert to that, especially because this can feel a little churchy sometimes, where I'm just like, oh, I gotta present, I gotta have these two sides, like good pastor's kid Nate versus like out in the world kissing strangers at the club Nate. I'm like, no, those all have to be the same person, and I have to be cognizant of, oh, I'm not presenting a version of myself that's not authentic. Yeah. That's something I want to do this year. I gotta start kissing people here. Is that the solution? I need to show that I kiss strangers sometimes, and I need to do it right here, make it obvious. Find me a stranger to kiss.
Well, I do think
there's a guy walking down the street. Can I? God. I mean, call me.
I think there is something though to like,
unless they're married,
the fact that there's something to the fact that we do these episodes. For a majority of the episodes, we have guests on. Like you said, like we don't try to speak over them or overly share.
I try, but I fail.
Like the version of us that people see, hopefully there are themes and strokes and like parts of us that people
keep going.
People experience like when they meet us in real life. But I think what you're getting to is like, you don't want to come across as presenting as someone you're not.
As performing.
Yes.
Yeah,
you don't want it to be performative.
I want to be honest and authentic.
Yeah.
Because it's just being a pastor's kid. I can't. Yeah. But like, what do you think? So yours is more probably out of like just wanting to be judged a certain way and not like judged the wrong way. Mine's probably the same thing. Yeah. I'm like media trained as a pastor's kid. Like, we got to think about what people are going to perceive us as. PR. So we want to like keep everything PG. So
no, I get that too.
I could cause shame on my whole family, which too late.
I think as a person, I might be like PG-13.
Yeah, I know. And I'm R-ing it up.
Yeah.
And I'm making you like, how's that been like, how has it been when you've had to perceive me? Because I know you like saw me on TikTok a little bit. You knew who I was before. We had kind of met before that, but also you saw that stuff. And I feel like your perception of me was a certain way. And then I feel like I've kind of probably been in my journey even more. So has that been like hard to sort that? Like, has it been
interesting? I never had a perception of you.
Wow.
All I thought about you was, this is somebody that I think I could really connect with. That's it. And when we talked, I didn't come into our coffee talk with any preconceived notions. It was just like I've seen that guy around town and his story sounds similar to mine, and maybe we can like connect on some like shared themes. And I think that's usually how I come into meeting most people. Yeah. Yeah. And then
that's why it worked, because like I think you hadn't perceived me too much, but you're able to
The bar is always like very like here.
My bar was so low.
Everybody's bar starts
What
low.
you're saying is my bar was really low, and I've managed to at least beat that. But if your bar was high, we might have.
No, everybody's bar is low, and then
I want us to be authentic. I want you to be authentic. I want me to be authentic. I think you being bold and unafraid of what people think of you has been such a cool journey to watch, because you're a very strong person and very smart and very gifted, and I feel like you're more cautious than you need to be, but also caution is a value. I think it's really nice when you have someone that's very like thought out and smart and careful, when they also find their confidence, because then you have both. A lot of times the people that don't have confidence or have way too much confidence are also just socially unaware and not self-aware. So if you have the self-awareness built in, and then you find your strength and your confidence and your voice, you have everything. You know, and I think that's something we both carry, of more so you, but like I also have that in a place where I didn't really have a voice. So I'm like, I at least have awareness for having both. Yeah.
Something I really admire about you is you bring people together really well. Like you always invite people, and I love that about you and being your friend. And that's why I think that building community with other gay men and other gay people, like it'll come easy to you once you find a couple people. Yeah.
I hope so. Let's find the queers.
I found one.
We found one.
I'm pointing
we need more. Calling all queers. We need more. We'll
oh my gosh, should we do a meetup?
Here, I don't think so, but maybe in San Francisco or New York.
Oh, San Francisco. That would be fun. Yeah. If you're interested in a meetup, let us know in the comments inbox. Yeah.
And let us know if you're like enjoying this kind of conversation. We're thinking about doing more like just low key, seeing what's on our minds and going for it. But we also want to interview some guests, but we might tone it back a little, because honestly, finding good guests is hard. And we're not like I personally am not like, oh my God, I got to prove that we can be gay. Because I'm like, I feel like we can be gay, and we've had a lot of good guests that have said that we can. And so I'm going to do the gay, and I'm going to be gay, and we're doing that. But if there's questions and things we need to get into, we'll get into it. But I guess what I want to say is, I think I just want us being who we are to remind people that we can exist, and that just existing is enough proof that like being gay and Christian is okay. And I'd love to keep sharing our journeys with you as we explore more of who we are. So we might do a couple more episodes. We got a few more episodes this season. We're going to do a couple more like this. We got a couple more interviews scheduled. Hopefully the stomach flu has passed and we can get that guest next in a couple weeks. She's awesome. So thank you for going on this journey with us. This 1 year anniversary.
1 year.
Susie, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I love you.
What a crazy
Sorry I'm
ride.
Annoying. Thank you for rolling with it.
It's been awesome.
I'm glad it's been positive
It's
too.
been great.
You're awesome.
I think we're both learning and growing, and I hope for our viewers that you guys find friendships in this way too. Yeah,
you can too. We did it, so can you.
Join us on
We Found Love in a Broken Place.
Join us on Patreon and Discord and our Instagram,
and anywhere else you find TV. No, that's false. Thank you for being here today. This is a short one, I know, but we just want to touch base, have a little chat, and we'll see you next time.
Do you ever notice how you have to have the last word?
Oh no, you do it. I'm so sorry.
Just kidding.
Last word it. What's your last word?
I don't want to.
Say a word. Say a word.
Bye guys.